friends, and welcome back to the Wardenburn YouTube channel. My name is Emily and I am here today to talk about some March knitting and yarn stats. Couple things. I got a haircut. It turned out a little bit shorter and slightly wonkier than I was hoping for, but here we are trying to figure out how to work with it and it'll grow back, so that works. I wanted it shorter, but it just ended up a little bit too short. So I'm just still trying to figure that out. And two, I am in my new little chair out in the living room. It's my new cozy comfy chair, which I've been wanting for a very long time. And so we finally got it this year. But yes, so stats for March. I finished two things. One of which I can't share with you. It is a cowl that I did for a test knit, and in the test it said that it was teasable, which I assume means that you can't really just share a full picture of it. So I'm not going to talk about that one too much. And then I did finish my cropped version of the Jovis Duster by Devon of the Knitting McCurly podcast. I was wearing it the other day, so pull the sleeves out. I knit this out of Woolies, Line Brand Woolies. Again, I'm not going to go too much into detail on these. I am planning to film a podcast, so this is just to show what I did finish. I did finish this cardigan, which used up 510 grams out of my stash, which was fantastic. Then I also, the cowl used 67 grams, I think? Yes, 67 grams. And then I ended up donating some random yarn just to my local Goodwill. I had a bunch of, I think there were some gifts that I was planning to make several years ago, and I didn't end up doing those, and so I had random skeins of acrylic yarns, and I also went through my yarn stash, and I was gifted a large amount of acrylic yarns, and so I kind of went through all of my acrylic yarns and pulled out the colors that I was like, I know I'm not going to knit with this. Donated those, got those out of my stash, and that was 554 grams worth of yarn for a total of 1,131 grams out of my stash, which is great. However, I had quite a bit of yarn come into my stash this month, all except for one selection of yarns was gifted to me, so that was incredibly generous from a few different people. And then I also just made one cheeky purchase. So we'll kind of go in the order that I received them. First off, I won a giveaway in January, I believe. Or maybe, no, it was February. It was February that I won it. And then it took me a week or two to pick out what yarn I wanted. That was the giveaway prize, what yarn I wanted for the giveaway prize. And then I got this right at the beginning of March, maybe it was within the first couple of days of March. So this is some Mystery Mouse Yarn Co. yarn in the Ghost Rider colorway and the Dry Bones colorway. The Dry Bones is a 50 gram skein and the Ghost Rider is a 100 gram skein, and this is a DK weight. And it is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So this was 150 grams into my stash. And then in there's a couple of different Telegram groups that I'm in, and in one of them I asked if anybody had some random scraps of Holst super soft or Holst Coast yarns that they would be, I would be more than willing to purchase it from them if they were looking to get it out of their stash. And I had four different knitters reach out to me and so generously gift me some Holst yarn, which was amazing. I think there was one person that I paid shipping for, but the rest of them, they just sent it to me, and it was just so kind of them. And so I have a few different ones. I'm going to leave the ones in bags that are in bags. There's one knitter that sent me this selection, which has a few pale blues and then some creams and reds and greens, which I'm very excited about. I think I'm going to try and do some sort of color work something with the red and green, and maybe some of the white as a Christmassy. I was thinking it'd be really cute to do a Christmas cowl or some Christmas mitts or something like that. This one was, let's see, 253 grams into my stash. And then Shauna from Shauna Stitches actually had a bunch of different scraps, and she had some Coast scraps as well. That was all just Holst Super Soft. And then this one is a mix of Holst Super Soft, Holst Coast, and I think she said there's some Tides. Their Tides base in here. And so it was this lovely mix of scraps of beautiful, beautiful colors, which I have planned with this. It actually worked out so well that these knitters were so generous, because I have now enough to make at least 2 sweaters and then enough to put in with some other projects, and I'm so happy about that. I'm so excited to get to finally use this. I've wanted to use Holst yarn for years and years and years, but I just have never bitten the bullet to actually make a purchase from it. I think they're in Denmark or something like that, and so you have to pay a bit extra for shipping, which is to be expected. But I just have never worked up the courage to actually make a purchase through them, and so I'm just so grateful for all of these gorgeous yarns. But yeah, so all of this was 212 grams, and then this gorgeous, amazing color, giant cake of it, this one is 245 grams, and my plan is I'm pretty positive this is what I'm going to try and do with it, but we'll see if it comes to fruition, is to pair these and make a Andrea Mowry Stria cardigan. I have had that pattern in my Ravelry library for a very long time, and I should have enough yarn to do. This is the main color, and then all of these gorgeous scraps as the stripes. Won't that be gorgeous? Oh, I'm so excited to work on some of these. But again, I'm being very good at making myself finish test knits, so. And then the last Holst bundle that I was gifted was this beautiful, beautiful orange color. It is showing up back here. It's a little more true to life. This is in the burnt orange colorway. It is a gorgeous orange, and I have 4 balls of this, which is, or no, is it 5? Do I have 5 balls? Yes, I have 5 balls, so 250 grams. And I cannot wait. I'm still mulling over what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to be some sort of like textured sweater pattern. I think that's going to be just stunning, and I absolutely love this color. It's so good. Like, oh, these also look great together. I love blue and orange. That's one of my like favorite color combinations. Anyway, so there were all of those, and then the one yarn purchase that I made, this is going to be quite crinkly, is Devin from Knitting McPurley was having her irregulars and extras sale, and she had these yarns heavily discounted, and I was like, yes, yes please. So I bought 3 skeins, and this is what I got. These are the irregulars, so I think that there was just something that was a little bit off with them, that they weren't quite up to Devin's standards to sell. And so there you go. I got a couple of skeins of pink, and then this really pretty springy green. And these are the from May 2025. The 2 pinks are from May 2025. It was May's color of the month. And then this one was March 2025 color of the month, the green one. So yeah, there's a cute picture of Devin. I'm super happy with this. I have some plans for this one as well that I am hoping to cast on very soon. But this month in March, I made it my main knitting priority was to get test knits done. I finished off 2 test knits. I'm on to my last one. I have high hopes of getting that last one done this month, and then my plan is to attempt to resist all test knits for the foreseeable future because I have so many other things I want to knit. But before I go down that bunny trail, the total amount of yarn in is 1,410 grams, and so as a reminder, I had 1,131 grams out. So my March total was plus 279 grams. But then for the year to date, This made me crack up laughing. My year-to-date total is -1 gram. So I am still down 1 gram from where I started at the beginning of the year. Oh man, I about died when I realized that was the case. So for March, I'm still up, but for overall for the year, I'm still in the negative. So I am taking that as a win. And yeah, there were a couple things that I thought of this month and that I realized that with keeping track of it, I will need to be cautious of. One is part of me wanted to like go through my yarn stash and just donate a bunch of stuff. And I stopped myself and I actually pulled some stuff back out of the donate pile and was like, hold on. I have done that in the past and I have regretted it deeply. There was at one point where I donated a ton of different yarn. I'm sure somebody had a very happy day at the thrift store. But I looked back at it afterwards and it was like, man, I so could have used those yarns. So much. I even donated at one point some Tuscan knits yarn that I had and I'm just so sad about that. But it was several years ago and I've kind of learned since that time to don't just donate stuff willy-nilly just because you're kind of like and overwhelmed. Put it in a box somewhere, put it back away, just don't think about it for a minute and make sure that it's something that you actually want to get rid of. So that's what I really tried to do. My goal this year with keeping track of my yarn in and out is not to just get yarn out. It's more of an experiment to see how much I actually use per year and if I am just continuing to build up my stash or if I am more or less staying right around the same stash amount or reducing each year. And I know for the last few years I certainly have not reduced my stash by any amount. And so I have to keep that in mind. That the goal is not to just eliminate my stash, it's to use it and to love it. And it was kind of, I had this thought too where I was thinking about like projects that I wanted to work on and projects I wanted to cast on and stuff. And I realized that I do have to be cautious with tracking this, to not just make the things that will get yarn out of my stash very quickly. So not just little things or fast projects to work on, because I found myself kind of leaning towards, oh, I'm not going to work on this whip, I'm going to work on this whip because this one will get done sooner. And I don't want to have that mentality. I really want to work on the things that I just want to work on, and that's it. And so that was something that I reminded myself of this month. So it's not a race, it's not a competition. It's okay if I end the year with more yarn than I started it with. That's fine. There's no crime. It's not bad to have yarn. And yeah, that was really good. And this month I think it has really helped me that I've really focused in on just finishing my test knits, because it has really made it clear to me that I need to take a break from test knitting for a while, because there are so many of my other whips, like my 12 cast-ons, that I want to work on, and there are so many other patterns and things that I want to cast on, and not allowing myself to do either of those things and focusing on just the test knits has been really, really good for me. So I've really enjoyed that. I did let myself cast on one cheeky project, which I'm just briefly going to share here because I think that it could be helpful for anybody who has random acrylic scraps in your stash that you're wanting to get rid of, but you don't necessarily want to donate them. You want to do something with it. I found out or heard of this one on Kirsty Knits and Sews. I have been watching a bunch of her older episodes and like catching up, getting up to date on her episodes, and it has been delightful. If you watch my most recent podcast video, you know that we've had kind of an intense March. My boys have been sick, and I have been terribly sleep deprived this whole month. It has been a lot. And Kirsty's episodes have brought me so much joy and so much comfort, and it has just been delightful to watch through her episodes. And it was even nicer because it inspired me to start this, and this has been bringing me so much joy. So I can't remember for sure which episode it was. It might have been episode 19, maybe. She shared about a crocheted basket project bag thing that she was working on. And I was like, you know what? I have a ton of scraps of acrylic, mostly that were gifted in the same bundle of acrylic yarn that I was gifted. I'm going to start one of these. I'm going to have a cheeky little cast on and get one of these started. And it has just, oh, it's been so much fun. So this is where I'm at right now. I've finished my base and I'm, you know, maybe 4 inches or so up the side. And I have been loving this. This is so much fun. There is a blog post with instructions. I can't remember. It's something about like My Poppet Makes or something like that. I'll have it linked down below. And I've hardly used the pattern. I basically just glanced over it and then was like, oh, okay, like I can figure this out. And basically what you do is you hold multiple strands of acrylic yarn together to get a quite thick, like a jumbo super bulky width or weight of yarn. And it is so fun. Like, it's so scrappy. And I've already used up like 4 random little balls of acrylic yarn that I had. And I've kind of done it in a color scheme where I have kind of creams and then pinks and blues. And that's what I've been doing. Like when a pink one runs out, I put a new pink one in. When a blue one runs out, I put a new blue one in. And then I also have this one, which I actually wound up, which you can see is actually 3 separate strands of yarn. It's a blue, a gray, and a brown. And I had like I said, I've got a giant bag of random scraps that I was gifted. And I was thinking about doing like a blanket or something with them, and that just didn't, it didn't spark joy. It wasn't something that I was like really anticipating and looking forward to. And the second I saw this on Kirsty's episode, I was like, that's it. That's what I want to use all those scraps for. And it's been amazing. I'm very excited to see how much yarn this is going to have used when it's done. I think Kirsty's basket used like 800 grams of yarn, which I'm like, can you imagine that? That would be so cool. But also it's going to be a very practical, really nice, fun thing. And I can see myself making a number of these. So I just wanted to share that in case you have a stash of random scrap yarns that you don't want to make a blanket, you don't want to make a garment. You could just make a really fun basket. Highly, highly recommend it. But that is all that I have to share for this month's stash updates. I hope that you enjoyed. Like I said, I'm hoping to get another podcast episode filmed sometime in here. We'll see how the boys' nap schedules and things go. Yesterday was an amazing nap schedule, and I was able to write a blog post for my blog, which was so fun. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to do more of that. But we shall see. It has been quite tricky to get free time and enough time to film over the last, month to 6 weeks. It's been difficult. So hopefully we're kind of on the end of that and I can have a bit more free time in the day. We shall see. I hope that wherever you are enjoying some lovely spring weather, or if you are in the southern hemisphere, that you're enjoying some cozy autumnal weather. And that you're just doing well and healthy, and happy Easter if you celebrate that. That's in a few days. Hopefully this will be up before then. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!